So ever since I've been involved with mountain biking, I've seen handlebars evolve a lot. From sort of mid to late 90s when I was riding, people tended to ride very narrow bars, right up to now where people tend to ride, I can't even comprehend how wide their bars are. I do have a vivid memory of growing up of seeing Neil racing in the late 90s, going extremely fast with narrow bars. Would you like to?
Yeah, it's funny. I look at old photos now and I cringe. They must have been probably, you know, smaller than 700mm, but I used to ride a BMX a lot and I sort of used really narrow bars for that, so I thought it was cool to use them on my downhill bike.
Okay, wide bars. What are the pros of using wide bars? Well, I think the biggest thing for me is you have that nice big wide bar and it makes the bike feel really planted, really stable. You've got a lot more leverage in the corners and you really feel like you are in control of that, and it's confidence inspiring.
Yeah, the big thing I notice if I go too wide with my bars, which actually I've got a new bike, it's come with 780 mil on there, and that's much wider than I normally use. I feel that riding in the woods where I normally ride, I'm getting really close to those trees and having to slow down to get through them. So yeah, it's definitely smacking your hands on trees is a big disadvantage, but also it feels a bit sluggish, not quite as nimble in the woods. So personally, I run 740s and they're still relatively wide, but I'm not up there with the big downhill 800mm wide bars. So why use narrow bars? It's fair to say narrow bars suit a longer stem because it's bringing your weight further forward with a longer stem. If you're then running wide bars, it's really bringing your chest down and forward. So longer stem, narrower bars, definitely better for cross country. Also, going back to something you see with road guys, when they're climbing, they bring their hands right on the tops, really close to stem, and it can open your chest up a little bit better for breathing on climbing.
They're all valid points, Neil, but I just want to talk about some of the cons of running narrow bars. You know, especially at higher speeds, you know, like I get up to, the bike might feel a little bit twitchy underneath you, perhaps haven't got quite the control that you would have with a wider set. In the turns, you haven't got that same leverage and that same sort of confidence inspiring sort of getting the weight through the bike to get that grip. It just doesn't do it for me.
No, and it is definitely something we're even seeing with the cross-country guys and girls. They are starting to go a bit wider with their bars. So how do you choose the right bars for you? So doing a press up, this is my natural position, hands slightly wide on my shoulders, feels really nice and strong, nice and stable as well. If I try and go out too wide, okay, it's gonna be much harder work, definitely pretty tiring, but also going back to the middle, feels pretty strong now. I could do a press up. Again, that's quite hard work compared to my comfortable position, but also obviously I'm less stable. So trying to find that comfortable position, hands slightly wide on shoulders, nice and strong. Oosh. So it's fair to say that the narrower bars suit a longer stem for cross country where you're going to need to keep some weight on the front tyre to stop that front wheel from wheeling on the really steep climbs.
And also there's similar issues with the wider bar. If you have, say, a longer stem, like something like 70 mils, and you put a wider bar on, you're going to have like this effect of like you're driving a big London bus or something. So the steering would be even slower with that long stem. So if you are looking to run a wider bar, you tend to mate it with a shorter stem. Therefore, you have that nimble steering, but then the stability when you're up to speed.
Yes, it's fair to say that, you know, the bar setup really comes down to the trails you ride and what you like to ride. So the other things to talk about the handlebars is rise and sweep. We've got two sets of downhill bars here. Sweep is that measurement of how far the way you grip on the bar actually comes back and also up. There's two measurements of sweep, back and up. You can see on these bars, this part of the bar is much higher off the table than these, so there's more sweep back on these bars. Tends to be more of a personal preference thing, I think, although you tend to find downhill bars have more sweep than cross-country bars.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. And as you say, I think there'll be certain, you could give me a set of bars and I'd be like, oh, that's horrible. And you would be like, oh no, I really like that. I think it's just the way your shoulders are set and how it kind of fits to your body.
Yeah.
Rise, on the other hand,
Yeah.
So rise is what we're looking at here, is if this was 0, and then it's how much rise up to here. So in this case, it's 20 mils from here to the top of there. So there's all different rises that you can get. Downhill bikes, as a rule, tend to have a bigger rise, and then a cross country would have 0 rise handlebars.
All right, so there's handlebars explained. I run 740s.
I'm running 750.
And just let us know in the comments what bars you use, and if you want us to cover anything else, give us a comment and we'll try and cover that stuff as well.
And don't forget to watch more videos here on GMBN. Check out my video of suspension forks explained up here.
Or click down here for Cy riding technical climbs, showing you how to do that.
I might watch that actually, I'm not very good at technical
climbs.
climbs.
No, that's what I've heard, yeah. Don't forget, you can click on us if you want to subscribe to GMBN.
Click on me, I'm better looking than Neil. Don't
Oh.
click on me.